Okay, so going by Jan 2020's data, there are roughly 2 billion websites and over 4 million mobile apps in existence. Globally, more than 4 billion people are using the internet now. Now, who is responsible for designing the visual interactive elements for all these websites and apps? Who makes sure that they not only look great, but are easily accessible, understandable, and fun to use? Uh, you guessed it right. It's the people who work in user experience and user interface industry, which are basically the designers, analysts, and managers who work in this industry. Uh, if I have to simplify and assign like a core responsibility to this job, it would be to make technology aesthetically pleasing and user friendly for the end user. But what makes the role of a UI UX designer so important? Or more importantly, how can you get the job of a UI UX designer, and how can you possibly start your career in this industry? That's what this podcast is going to be about. And for that very purpose, I've tried to get two people who have recently found success in this industry by joining this industry uh, in the last 2 years. Quick context on why I made that decision is that often you get insights from people who have made it in the industry, like who have become successful on in this industry in different industries, whether it be UI UX design or anything. The purpose for this podcast is going to talk to people who have recently entered this industry so that it's easier for people who want to like to reduce the barrier to entry in most industries, to try and understand what you need to master to enter this industry. So without any further delays, as clearly you can see, the man on my left there is Vitthal Bhatt, and the woman who's like right below me is Neha Sehgal. Both of them are working in different companies uh, at an entry level position in the UI UX design. Welcome, guys. How's it going? Welcome to the show. Uh,
It's
just to
going
start
great.
off, possibly, why don't you guys tell me about your professional journey up until now? Neha, you can take this question away.
Yeah. Hi, thank you, Tushar, for this amazing podcast. And I hope this reaches out to as many people, they need the help right now, especially in these times. So, yeah, for me, my professional journey has been a little different from the generic UX designers. So, I'm actually an architect by education, and I graduated last year. So, I'm all those who know, so BArch in India is a 5-year degree. So it was a long course, and it helped me develop those designer skills. And by the end of it, I sort of knew that I have to switch my field because of multiple reasons, one of them being growth, salary, from a salary point of view, so basically the core thing that I enjoyed in architecture was designing for the end user.
Hmm.
And I realized that when I entered the field of UX also, or when I was planning to switch, UX is basically architecture for the visual world.
Hmm.
So so the field might be different, but the design core senses remain the same. So that helped me take the switch. And yeah, that's what my professional journey has been. It's been a year now since I'm working in this field.
Hmm.
I worked at a design studio for about 7 months, and now I've shifted to an MNC, which is
Hmm.
called Global Logic. So I'm working as a UX designer here.
Sure. What about you, Vitthal?
Hello, hi. My journey is also somewhere where I basically switched path at a very young age. So after 12th grade, I basically tried to do CA because my dad is a CA,
Hmm.
and I was expected to follow that path. However, after failing miserably twice in the entrance exam, which is considered the easiest exam in CA, I realized that this is definitely not my calling. So, with the help of a lot of my friends and especially Neha over here, who helped me out in giving this whole thought of using your hobby as your career, which a lot of us don't realize. Because after 12, the idea of career, I feel, since we are confused, is that career means earning a lot of money. But at the end of the day, we need to realize that once we become adults, that career has a totally different meaning when it comes to money. Money is just one aspect of it. So the idea of, basically following your hobbies and making that into a career is what I basically did. I was always interested in something related to arts, graphics, and design and all of that. So just following that herd of line, I thought of let me just try graphic design because I've always been interested in that. And I did a 4-year course at Pearl Academy, Noida. And it was a great experience. And I did graphic design as my majors. But luckily or unluckily, whatever, I was always interested in the idea of how I can see graphics is very visual, right? At the end of the day. So how can you basically, and I've been always very, very interested in the idea of tech and interactions and making every design that you make user-centric. So your design, there's this whole idea of how art can be complex. Right? Now, art can have different meanings. For me, a blank canvas can be a blank canvas. For someone else, it can mean the world. But similarly, I believe at the same point of time, your art should speak something or the other to everyone. So that idea of making your design user-centric has always been appealing to me. And combining the ideas of tech, making your design user-centric and making something visually appealing is, I thought, something that is always there in the field of UI and UX design. So luckily, I basically got placed at Accenture as a UX designer. Right now, technically, my field is UX analyst, but yeah, so I got into Accenture and I'm working there.
Okay, so basically you got placed from your college, Pearl Academy, while Neha, you did architecture and found your way through it by basically interning with different companies and figuring out that architecture was not your calling, but you wanted to use those creative skills to directly solve the user problem. Cool. That so basically, if I have to wrap things here, you come from a design background, coming from Pearl Academy, while you come from an architectural background.
Yeah.
Just a follow-up question to you, Neha. Is this a traditional path that many architecture students take in India right now, or what other degrees like professional courses do people do to get into this industry?
Okay, so now the trend is changing. Now people are realizing that, UX is not a completely different from a form of design from architecture. So there are people who are switching. In fact, I know a couple of my batchmates also and my juniors and seniors who are taking that step. However, one step is to, just deep dive it, learn, and also luck plays an important role, honestly. So, you have to be sort of lucky to get the job, to get in the market, or you then go towards a master's degree. So you can, in India, you can go for NID, there's interaction design, there's information design, or you can go to NIFT, where there's masters of design. Even Pearl offers a master's degree. So if you haven't done it into your undergraduation, then there's always scope of doing it in your master's and then following that route.
Then inculcating those skills and then then possibly entering this industry in a more traditional manner, like getting a placement from your college itself.
Right.
Cool. Now, since you did talk about the market, my next question to both of you is like that this is a statement that I read online, that good UI UX design is one of the key drivers for any business's success in 2020. I want to understand your viewpoint, and Vithal, how about you take this question while probably just giving us a clear understanding about what good UI UX design means and why is it critical for any business? Vithal.
Thank you. I'll take this question. So what I believe is, again, something that my friends basically laugh at when I use the word pleasurable because it's very funny. But I believe that at the end of the day, UI UX, a very basic definition in a layman's term, is making your UX is making your design usable, and UI is making your design look pleasurable. So when you combine these two things together is what makes your final product at the end of the day. Now, right, especially the whole idea of what people think UX is literally everything is digital. It's making digital interfaces and etc. Whereas UX ka definition is user experience. You have a user experience while opening the zip of a bag. You can have a user experience while having a hand pump. And UX in our lives has evolved from different generations. First, you had to draw water from a hand pump. Now you draw water out of an RO. So this whole thing people have come up and realized that first experience was this. and now you have to change that experience because people were having hardships releasing that water from the underground. So all these things basically come in the idea of how a normal user's experience has changed over the years. Now, obviously, in the digital era that we live, we are as working as UX designers who work on digital interface. So at the end of the day, you make a very pretty looking app, green color, blue color, all of that colors you put, and wow, it looks beautiful. But at the end of the day, if I haven't seen that my design is actually catering to the user who it is made for, or it is not talking to the people who need it, or it is not set with the psychology of a normal user, there is no
solving the problem for the end user.
The basic idea is if I have to check out, and that checkout button is somewhere like gray color, which you can't really see, whereas Amazon has this checkout color the entire website is white, but that checkout button is that stark orange, which should always drive your eyes towards that button. Attention is good UX. So that entire idea as to how you make your design usable is UX, and at the same time, UI is to make that thing pretty. So I'm a person who's actually a bit more inclined towards UI than UX because I come from a graphics background, and Neha I know is much more inclined towards UX when it comes to that. But both of them definitely go together. You can make a design usable, but if it's not good looking, a person might not use it. At the same time, if it's good looking but it's not usable, similarly you won't have a product. So it's like a team effort that goes in together, and then
Okay.
So that's the basic idea of UI UX.
And Neha, would you like to add any point?
Yeah. So also people, like I know quite some people who think UI UX is just designing the interface.
Correct.
However, there is a whole process in UX which is, which we have to follow. We have to really deep dive into the user's mindset, because if I'm designing an app for a person sitting in China, Japan, US, wherever, or maybe for a kid, if I don't think from his point of view or what his needs are, I can't design it. So the user is like our core point of contact. We have to keep in touch with that user, and you have to keep going back and forth with him. Whereas again, just people just think that they're just designing screens. Even most developers in companies think that your job is pretty easy. However, there's a whole process which is supposed to be followed, which is a time consuming process. So that, and for your question that how is it changing in 2020, definitely changing, because especially after the pandemic, most of the platforms are now digital. So because of that, now they've realized, those contactless deliveries, and all these applications which are coming, even education, a thing like education is also now digital. So definitely a lot of growth is happening in this.
So if you basically coming back to the whole statement, if right now, especially if you are making your platform digital or your product digital, if it is not usable, especially in the age of 2020, when everything literally, as we are seeing during these COVID times, is digital, this podcast is digital. If the interface that we are using right now was not usable, we won't be having this podcast. So every product, and it's a team effort at the end of the day. I might have a great UI UX. If I don't have great marketing to establish that app out in the market, there is no point of me taking that app. So everything is basically a combined effort which releases the product. And hence UI UX being one of the branches is very important.
Okay, and I think I just want to ask a question regarding one specific thing that Neha mentioned, was that there has been like a very significant impact in UI UX design and the kind of problem solving that you do through UI UX design due to the pandemic. So just focusing on kind of problem solving that if probably any one of you can take this question up, if you could come up with any one great product or an app which has solved a very key issue during the pandemic through the product itself, through the design, a good, like probably one thing that comes to your mind, I think you mentioned contactless delivery that probably Zomato or a Swiggy has done using the UI UX design. If any other example comes to your mind that you guys would like to take forward?
Honestly, I feel in general, you can just see the boom in the news apps. people are now refraining themselves to get the physical newspaper. So, these InShots and NDTV, TOI, all these apps have boomed. Now, in fact, TOI has now taken out a paid version. So if I think after 2 stories, you have to pay them, which was not there earlier. So just from a basic thing as a newspaper, even they have, they now
Move
feel
to
the need
digital.
to. Right.
My basic example would be what we are doing right now. So video calling is right now literally the most big in India, especially right now. We have 25 video calling apps that have surfaced in these 2 months because people have realized if there was like a 5-minute meeting which I could have in person, I can literally solve that through a digital medium. So right now, the booming industry, at least what I can see, the whole vocal for local thing that's going on right now.
Yes, but my question is more catered towards what. Okay, I'll just rephrase my question. What has been a new development in UI UX design during this time, which has led to probably pre-existing apps becoming more usable? Like a new development in these apps. Okay, one thing that comes to my mind is most of these companies making their whole user interface more focused towards hygiene, high quality hygiene, and something as simple as companies putting a mask on their logo, right? I think that also leads to a lot of trust, and that is also a part of the whole experience, if I'm right.
Yeah, I think so. Have you seen the app MyGate?
Yep. Yeah.
So there's this app. Yeah, even my society uses that app, MyGate. So now, whenever my maid or any delivery person checks in, there is a notification what her temperature is, whether she's wearing a mask or not, if she went through the sanitization process or not. And now these are key points. These are something that my parents actually wake up and check that, okay, today her temperature is fine. Or maybe, she is wearing a mask. And all of these small things, which was
a simple
absolutely
thing like when you are tracking a delivery on Zomato, the driver's temperature is shown on the top.
Right.
What I have kind of realized very weirdly is how, so I called an urban clap carpenter recently. And he came in and had the whole thing where he basically washed his hands with sanitizer, wore gloves, checked his temperature and everything, whatever. What I realized was, it's so weird that all these apps, Amazon, all these delivery apps especially, how hygiene is a very normal thing. But somehow in the UX industry only you can take it, we all focused on making your delivery fast, making your delivery comfortable, making your delivery on time. No one ever really focused on the idea of hygiene, which was actually very basic. Let's say food. These whole things that people's temperature should be checked, which should have technically always been there. It's just it took a virus to at least make us realize it's not just the UX industry, it's the whole normal.
It's every industry, but I think the way these people have integrated and used smart UI UX design to build trust amongst its customer bases, all these apps, has been something that I think has been the biggest contribution by different industries. It just didn't take the UI UX design industry. All these, I'm sure there was a lot of back end work that also required. Cool. I think that should lead me to my next question, which is, okay, cool. I think my next question to you guys is going to be about okay, so I'm someone who is creative, who has got a degree, who wants to pursue a job in the UI UX design industry. What's the role at which I start with, and what's the growth path like in this industry? Neha?
Okay, so I can talk for the company that I'm working at, or maybe in general.
Yeah.
So I joined here on a trainee or on a creative designer position, which is the base, like a fresher position. Then here there are bands, different bands as you get promoted. So you start as a creative designer, then there is associate analyst, then there's senior analyst. Both of them are in the band 1. I am in band X. Then as you go ahead, there's you become a product experience specialist, then a consulting specialist, and then the director of design. And even the director of design reports to the VP of engineering. So that's how it's structured here.
VP of engineering, like, so basically, the director of product design basically reports to the VP engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So basically, there's a whole structure that you start as
Right.
an analyst designer. You grow, and then so basically, you can aspire to become the director of creative,
The
like
design.
director of
So
design.
here it's called usability and design. The
Yeah,
the name of the branch that
cool,
we're in.
cool,
It's called
cool.
usability and design.
Vittal, what about you? How is it like in Accenture?
We have a very sequential workflow just like that, but there's like proper names again. Like there's proper jargon names given to all of this. So like right now I'm an analyst, so that's how it starts. That's the basic entry level. Then there's senior analyst. Then there's team lead, which is the specialist. So analyst, senior analyst, team lead or specialist, and then there's associate manager.
Okay.
Then there's manager. And above that is associate director and then director. So this is like a huge chain of, yeah.
Sure. And just to have a better understanding, Vittal, in your workflow, how much more responsibilities do you pick up from a senior analyst to a team lead role? Do you start managing a small team of UI UX designers and start heading certain projects?
Definitely. So basically, in team lead, as the name says, you become a team lead and you have a group of designers, senior and normal analysts.
So that's a project manager.
That's a project manager, exactly. Project manager, no, not project manager. Project manager is someone else, but he's the one who's assessing the UI UX.
Like a design manager.
Design manager.
Yeah, because here under product manager is someone who holds the design team, the development team, the business team.
Correct.
So not a product. Yeah, a product.
I said a project manager. So like the project
even
is
the project manager.
Even the project manager.
A project manager overlooks the whole project from different verticals. This team lead will just care about the UI UX design front.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So what according to you should be like a good time frame for you to jump from one position to another? How long would you think like you'll have to, like, what's the criteria to get that first promotion in this industry?
I think about a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Also, things have drastically changed because of
COVID
the pandemic.
Right
yeah. So.
But I think year and a half to 2 is at least your 2
That's
years.
the level of experience that you
get. 2 years to become a senior. Definitely.
Sure. Okay.
That's, I feel like
also it differs from a corporate to a studio.
Definitely.
So I was working at a studio earlier at a design studio. There the levels were different, and here the levels are different. So it really depends.
So since you have experience working in a studio environment and a corporate environment, you're basically saying that there's a faster growth path in a studio, and
no, that's not what I mean. I just what I'm trying to say is the nomenclature is different and the times are different. So it really depends where you are.
Sure.
Company to company.
What's the firstly, this is a two-part question. The first question is that, Neha, did you notice any work culture difference while working in a studio versus an MNC? Secondly, are the quality of projects different? Is there more ownership involved in one or the other?
Okay, yeah, definitely there's a big change from a small studio to a big corporate, because so there are processes which are more streamlined in a corporate. You know, there's an HR department, there are departments, and there are people who are taking care of those things, whereas it's a little different. It's a more homely studio culture in a small firm. So that is one big difference. And apart from working, the project scales are obviously different. And here, like in an MNC, I'm working with the business team, I'm working with business analysts, I'm working with the dev team. There I was wholly doing the design. Okay. So there, because it was just a design studio. So yeah.
So basically the design studio would collaborate with other companies to do the analytical work for them, and you would just focus on the core design.
Yeah.
Okay. and I have heard that there's a lot of work culture difference while working in a studio, because the structure of working is not as in place compared to oh,
Honestly,
did
it
you say?
depends from person to person.
Hmm,
There are people who love the studio culture and there are
hmm,
people who love the MNC culture.
hmm,
It's actually what you're calling is, if you're just focused complete into the like a small firm and actually seeing the whole thing build, then
hmm.
people go for a studio. In fact, people work at MNCs for years and years and
And
then
then
go to
take
the
that
studio.
switch. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I've
So
I've also heard that similar thing happens in the online marketing space, right? Many people work for big MNCs and all, and then make that switch to be more, to be directly involved if on a lot of projects.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
there's
get
no
that sort
good
of
or
involvement.
bad. There's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's
it's
a
what
choice.
you want. Yeah, it's a choice.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Since we have been talking a lot in terms of how this, and I'm glad we have had this conversation separately and with relation to the biggest conversation piece, that is the pandemic itself.
Hmm.
Uh, what do you think will happen to UI UX designers and the number of jobs in this industry? Have you seen a hit? Has there been a hit to this industry in particular? Because a lot of industries have uh, had an impact due to the pandemic itself. Is this going to lead to less jobs in this industry, or there is going to be, or do you guys see a higher demand in this industry
Mhm.
post COVID? Vitthal?
Uh, Honestly, here's my idea. Obviously, a lot of industries have been hit, so
Hmm,
it's understandable. But UX in general, right now, as I told, is seen as a digital interface industry. I think this industry is here to stay for a very, very, very long time, because
hmm,
this is the era that we are in. And since a lot of things that are out there, practical, which could be done in hands, are now being replaced with digital interfaces, I think this industry is actually just going to go more and more. I know a lot of people who actually got hired at not even MNC studios
hmm,
at UI UX, because projects are right now,
Hmm.
and right, everyone is thinking of a startup at the end of the day. I feel like it's a
hmm,
very layman way of saying everyone is thinking of a product in today's field. I feel like a digital product is something that most of the people are reaching for, and
hmm.
for that you need a good UX. So
Okay.
I think this industry is here to stay.
Hmm.
What about you, Neha?
Yeah, I completely agree with Vithal.
Hmm,
So, because now there's that drastic shift of digital products which are being used, and in general, not even products, just how services are also being used. So that it is going to stay for sure.
hmm,
I mean, this industry was also hit. I think I would say around March, April time, like there were jobs which were lost and all. But
hmm.
I think it's now, as people are realizing that Corona is here to stay for a while,
Ah,
the jobs are getting back to the market.
sure. Uh, so that should give a lot of confidence to all the people who are listening to this and want to probably pursue this industry going forward. That don't worry about it. There are opportunities uh, in this industry, and basically, I think right now, if you have experience in problem solving using your creativity and using all the design experience that you have, this industry is uh, going to pick up again and going to be solving a lot of problems that probably were not problems earlier. As Vittal said, that many things that were practical beforehand
Hmm.
uh,
Right.
are now. Okay, just a random question that I'm going to throw to you guys right now. Name one app on your phone right now
Hmm.
whose UI or UX, either one, that you guys think solves that particular problem in the best way. Just one app. Take 5 seconds to think about it. Uh, Whoever comes up with first, and I want you guys to tell me exactly. You can go as technical as you want, but explain it to me why, according to you, it just makes sense. Because I see a lot of these UI UX elements thrown on websites like Pinterest or on Google, that like a futuristic implementation of how an app should be, but
Right.
no app is trying to do that right now. So I name one app that according to you just makes sense, and why those things that I see, that's the second part, why you think those things that I see on Pinterest or on Google are not being implemented in the current version of the app. Vitthal, do you want to take this?
I'll take your first question and answer the second question. Literally, I mean, there's so many things that I can think of, but since you just asked me, like in 2 seconds, I need to answer. Something that comes to my head is I'm going to give a very stupid answer, but the banking apps. Like right now, I suppose, so at least I'm talking about how from things that used to go out there in the world and do, and that converting into an app. I'll give you a basic example of making an FD, fixed deposit. So my first FD that my parents used to make, they had this. There was this whole idea of going to a bank and doing that thing, and the amount of delay it used to take. मुझे FD खोलना है. Basic example. I want to open a bank account or open a fixed deposit account. Fixed deposit. I have to go to a bank. I have to fill up the forms. I have to do that. Talk to that person. All of that. Thinking that मेरे को वो चीज करनी है took me like 6 days to plan that whole thing and then go to. So that entire journey has been changed to a click of a button because I had recently made an FD and I did it literally in 3 to 4 clicks.
Plus making it that secure also.
Making it that secure at the same time.
People feeling safe about it. Yep. That's something that has become such an integral part of our life. All these banking apps, all the, like, I think that, like, the conversation around UPI can be another conversation altogether. But, yep, I think that is a good answer. Neha, what according to you is that one app?
Can I tell you a feature? It's not an app. It's a feature now that the mobile, like.
Sure.
So this feature where you can limit every app screen time and you actually
digital well-being.
The digital well-being, which Google has launched. So now they have realized that unless you respect their time, why will the user respect the digital product? So I absolutely love that feature. I mean, initially in the pandemic, I was spending so much crap time on my mobile, which, no, I mean, I'm a UX UI designer. I shouldn't be saying that because, you know, my bread and butter is coming from designing those things. But it harms your mental health because seeing too much information, it really, you know, because by the end of the day, I was like, I'm not even cooking. I'm not producing something. I'm not doing anything. I'm just wasting my time. So that was like a check to me that, okay, you are being given a certain time, but after this, the phone is also telling you to, you know, take a pause, take a break. And also there's this feature in the Apple Watch. That feature is called Breathe. So after every 20 minutes, it reminds me to meditate for a minute. And on a busy work day, it really helps me because now with this whole work from home situation, earlier there was a line between office and home. Now you're just there. You can have meetings anytime. You can have calls anytime. So that feature, you know, just vibrates and you're like, okay, screen time off, just breathing with the app. I feel that's a wonderful feature.
Okay.
So to answer that question, by the way, why
the second question.
So there's a number of reasons. I'm not even checking. You can check out this website called Dribbble, which is basically a beautiful website. Which most
can you just repeat the name of the website? I didn't catch it.
Dribbble, DRIBBLE. And Dribbble is basically a website where you can find beautiful illustration graphic designers putting their work, illustrators putting their work, and now it's also a front for UI designers to take inspirations from. And trust me, I feel like half the designs I think of have already been done. It's so beautiful out there on the work that you can see. But sadly, we don't see apps look like that. So it's a question that I'm always answering myself as a UI designer who's more in the UI front as to why people are not doing it. And that is where UX comes in. So one of the reasons is you realize that app looks beautiful, but it is just not usable. So you realize again, so that balance is not there. You can make beautiful colors, beautiful illustrations, but if it is not solving the problem that I am trying to fix with that app, there is no. Second of things which comes in the top of my head is development. It's again, all of these things are skills, right? I can make certain type of graphics or illustrations, but let's say Neha makes one kind of illustration, I make one kind of illustration. I don't have the skill set that Neha has. So there's a difference in our skill set. We both call ourselves, let's say, graphic designers or UX designers, but there's a way Neha has her workflow and I have my workflow. And that's the beauty
Okay.
of a creative field, that everyone has their own work, their own style.
Hmm.
Similarly, I feel like there's a skill set when it comes to development or coding the
Yeah.
app or the digital product. Now you may think of the fanciest animations. I click this button, the world will pop out, and this will happen, that will happen out of it. But if the development team is not able to achieve that,
Sure. Hmm.
Right.
similarly, there's a limitation.
Or maybe that's just not how the
That's
end
not
user
feasible.
wants
It's
to use
not
it.
feasible.
Yeah,
Exactly,
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
110%.
So, Vitthal, I know you also follow MKBHD's podcast, and I'm sure Neha,
Correct.
you must have also heard of him. So he gave this example in his latest podcast. Was that there's this app called Waze that he hates to use, but he loves to use it because even though uh, the feature
Doesn't
set
look
that
good.
it provides and the user experience that it provides is the one that he wants, but the interface is not the one that is pleasing to him. So
Right.
he said this quote, which was like, uh, if the end experience is what the user wants, then the interface is something that the end user is willing to probably get used to, and because
Yeah.
the service that Waze provides is not being given by Apple Maps or Google Maps right now. So what is your viewpoint on that, Vittal? Because I'm sure you must have heard that. Firstly, tell me, have you heard that
Yes, I saw
part
the
of the
podcast
podcast?
with there
Sure.
today
So
only.
tell
So
me,
I saw
what's
the
your
video.
viewpoint on that?
So it's a very beautiful point. It sucks because as a UI designer, I'm saying this.
Hmm.
UX genuinely drives your UI. I feel UX is on top, then only your UI means anything if your UX is not there. I'll give you a very basic example. So I have a friend with whom I usually sometimes we take up these fancy hypothetical projects, and we were working on this chat interface, and we were like talking about this, and while you were working. Suppose I'm talking to you and I have a chat interface, and we need a back button to go back to the chats that I have. I'm
To a separate
with
chat.
To a separate chat or the list of chats like we
Yeah.
have on WhatsApp. I am chatting to the chat. I'm going to go back to my chat. So we were just discussing this, that I need a back button, and to a UI person, somehow I just feel like that back button just won't do it because it's harming the interface that I'm trying to create. It's harming the visual. And he said that back button is important. I had this very simple answer to that. Android mein back button hota hai. Android has that back button feature. Why are we thinking
Not
that?
using
But that's just not how you are supposed to think when it comes to UX. Your user needs to have a back button. Apple doesn't have a back button. What about the person who's going to use an Apple phone? He's using your app. Does he have a back button feature? No. And it's so weird. Like if you see WhatsApp, and I noticed this today. WhatsApp, whenever I'm chatting to Tushar's photo, on the side of that there is a back button, and I've never noticed because I always use the back button below it. So that real estate of that back button is so small that it's actually required, but it's not there. So my whole point is that this balance that needs to be there is so important, that you can try to make your app pretty, but if I cannot go back to my chat, so what is the whole point of making that beautiful interface?
Right.
So again, the usage is what is required. Like I'll give you a basic example, right? If like we talk about banking apps, 90% of the banking apps out there really look very bad. Like I use this, I won't name the bank, but I use that bank's app. It generally took me like almost 30 minutes to find out FD ka option kidhar. I'm not even joking.
It's very confusing. It's like a bunch of lists within lists within lists.
Exactly. So that is one feature. And then there's another app that I used for a banking. I thought, let me make an FD in this wala bank. And it's right there at the end of the day. So how I didn't care about the fact that that banking app didn't look good at all. This one, the second one. But the fact that in 2 clicks I was able to make an FD.
The convenience
that was my end goal at the end of the day. So if that was solved, I didn't at the end of the day care about how beautiful it looked. So if my experience through that app is being solved at a better
So I feel demographics, all these things also play a big role. Like I've seen my grandfather use WhatsApp. He always presses the back button. Whereas if we as the millennials, the Gen Z, we won't do it. But we have to keep all what are user targeted, and for apps like such as WhatsApp, the user target is so big. Like I mean, okay, that'll be fine for Insta because I know that age bracket won't use Instagram. But something like WhatsApp or now Facebook, they have to sort of even keep changing it because they have to cater to all the age groups.
Yep. Makes
So
sense.
that's also a big demand.
Makes sense. So basically, you're saying that the just to wrap things up, the fancy designs online may look good to me, but
Right.
they don't necessarily cater to the end user that app has, the whole
Mhm.
demographic of the end user, and sometimes it's just fancier looking than actually problem solving. Right? It does not
Yeah.
solve the problem itself. Cool.
Right.
That makes sense. That actually gives a lot of insights into UI UX design in general. One last question to both of you, and it's a general question about if I want to take up UI UX design today. If I'm like, yeah, I want to leave my job, I want to get into this industry. What are like? Just give me one or two suggestions on random videos or books or podcasts or anything, any sort of information that someone who wants to enter this industry that they should go through, that probably you went through when you were looking for that first job. uh, Suggest that we can add those links in the description also. Vittal, how about you take this?
The thing that I referred to before, so the whole idea of, again, this is going to drift a little bit to the topic of difference as to how designing in general means, what designing in general means.
Hmm.
Art and design, the difference is art is done for yourself
Hmm.
and designing is done to solve a problem. So
Okay.
the idea of what design in total means is to make your thing user centric or be defined to the thing problem that you're trying to solve. So before UX comes in, I feel like basic designing, there's a lot of things which UX eventually solves is you understanding what design means. There's this beautiful book called Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman. He's like the god of
One thing to add, there's one more book called Emotional Design by Don
emotional
Norman.
design by Don
So these
Norman.
two
Okay.
books.
What about one
Yes.
of few of the softwares that you guys use? Probably
Yeah.
design thinking.
So-
Okay, so these books are for design thinking.
Thinking, exactly. Design
Now,
thinking.
like, what about like you guys use Photoshop?
So
I don't
there's
know the
like
software that you
there's
guys
like n number of weapons today
Yeah.
right now, but
Uh,
I feel like I personally have I used to use Adobe XD. I have switched for the past 6 months to Figma,
Figma.
and Figma is a beautiful tool for UI UX. I feel anyone can use
Okay.
it. It's browser based. You don't need to download it. It's all there
Wow.
online.
Is it
Everything
free
is
to
saved in the
use?
cloud. It's free to use.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a paid version, but it is free for your basic needs. And yeah, so there's Sketch has been the industry leader till now, till Adobe XD came in, and now there's Figma, which I believe that's a transition. And there's a lot of things if we have to do it. There's designing, and then there's prototyping your design, and there's prototyping tools like InVision, Marvel, all of these. But right
And
now we use
honestly, the tools, like, I mean, I've actually done set of architectural tools, and then I'm doing these tools. Tools are not a big deal. You
It's
can
not.
learn the
That's
tool.
true. You can
Design
learn.
thinking is the most important
Design
part of it.
thinking is
Right.
your main.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the two books that you guys have recommended, plus a few other things if you guys can recommend.
One thing, so there's this portal called the Interaction Design
I-
Foundation, IDF.
Hmm.
There are n number of courses from beginners to intermediate to advanced, and I would personally recommend doing one
Those
of
courses.
if you want to switch your career like me.
So that's like a certification that somebody
It's a
can take.
certification course,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Do you guys have that certification?
I am actually enrolling into it.
Yeah. Same.
Okay, sure. So that's a good
It's
certification to
It's a
have.
good certification to
Yeah,
use.
and there are multiple courses on Udemy, Coursera.
So many. If you want to get started, get started with Udemy or
With
Coursera. There's
Udemy or
nothing better than
Coursera.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like even in my industry, like as a business analyst, whenever somebody comes and talks to me, that is exactly the kind of suggestion that I also give. Do not focus too much on the tools, which is Python, SQL, or any of these things. Many people sometimes just get scared by the tool. The core job sometimes is not that much about the tool. It revolves at the end of the day. Both our fields, I think I relate to you guys that much because I think both our jobs revolve around just problem solving.
Right.
Like just finding a problem and just using our tools to try and solve that problem. Okay, I think that gives us a lot of insight about how to enter this industry and what a UI UX designer actually
there's
does.
one beautiful book called Seductive Interaction Design, which everyone should check out. I don't remember the author's name, but it's beautiful.
Ah,
It's actually very nice.
okay, cool. I'll add the link to
You
that
should add
also.
that. Yeah.
Sure. Seductive design.
Interaction
Sure.
design. Interaction.
Interaction design.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll add that for sure. Cool. That brings us to the end of this podcast. Thank you so much, guys. I think I've been meaning to do this, and it took a podcast for me to understand what two of my best friends actually do. Like two people who I've known for, I don't know, like Neha, you can correct me if I'm wrong, more than
10 plus
10
years.
years.
10
Yep.
plus years.
Huh. So 10 years, and it took this opportunity, and it took me like a podcast to understand what you guys actually
We
do.
also
So,
need to understand what do you do.
What do you do?
I also need to understand what I actually do. So that's the whole reason behind why I do this. But sure, I think thank you so much, and I hope you guys do wonderful in your careers and do amazing problem solving for the end user. Thank you so much.
Thank you.